Hello again. Well, here we are. I've just had a delivery and I've bought some new clamps because you can never have too many clamps, and today's task is going to be gluing on the gunwales, and for that we need plenty of clamps. So these are just going to hold the gunwales in place once they are glued on and while the glue sets. They're obviously going to be screwed at the front into the bow hook with 2 screws, and into the knees here, the aft knees, or potentially even into the transom somewhere around here with 1 screw. So 1 screw here and then 2 in the bow, but there's going to be a big curve on there, and I want to make sure that it actually adheres to the sides and doesn't leave a gap of any kind, which might vibrate, which would be very annoying. Okay, so however, before I can put these on, there is one small thing I need to do with the forward bulkhead. I neglected to cut out the notch, which is for the mast collar. So that's about 3/4 of an inch down and probably about 4 inches along. So I've got to take that forward bulkhead out, because cutting that, I suppose I could cut it in place, but it'd just be a lot easier doing it on the edge of the bench here or something, rather than trying to cut it. And all the boat would be shaking as well with the you could just shake everything and it wouldn't be very great. So I'm going to take that out, cut it, and I've also bought a little hatch. So the idea with this is that this screws into the forward bulkhead with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8 screws, and once that's in place and glued and watertight, you can actually open it and use it to inspect, have a look inside, make sure there's no problems, or even put things inside there, you know, storage of some kind. You know, a bit of line or something, maybe even a life jacket. But this one is 150mm in diameter, and it's a bit bigger than I thought it was going to be. And when I put that against the forward bulkhead, it can't go in the middle because of the mast, and if I put it to the side, it's tipping away a lot of the wood. I think I needed to go the size down 125. So I'm going to save this one for one of the aft seats. Put that into an aft seat instead, and crack on with getting the gunwales in place. So first of all, to dry fit them. So put the first one on this side, put the first one on that side, drill the holes through, use the clamps, and then build it up until all 3 are on, and then put some 2 screws through, 2 in the front and 1 at the stern, hold them in place. Once that's done, I can take them off again, glue them up, and then put them back in. So it should take 2.5, maybe 3 hours. So it's going to go through lunch. So I'm going to take a pause at some point. Hopefully I can get this all dry fitted before lunch, and then after lunch it'll just be the gluing part. So let's see how it goes. So at the moment I've got the 6 strips of wood for the gunwales actually sitting on a chair in the kitchen with a kettle underneath, putting some steam onto them just to make them a bit more flexible. I don't want another breakage. So I'll do 2 or 3 kettlefuls of steam onto those just to give it some heat and some moisture. Hopefully it'll make them bend a little bit better. Otherwise, that's it, ready to go. Okay, I just thought I'd give you a quick tour of where I'm at with the boat right now. So I've bent on the gunwales. They're not glued yet, they're just dry fitted. So I'll show you. So there we are. So there's a screw at the back which is holding that into the aft knee, and the same on the other side. And there are 3 pieces of Douglas fir here, which are 1/4 inch thick. And you have to do it in 3 pieces, not just in one, because one, when you cut the boat in half, one will make the boat sides flatten in because it's too strong. But 3 separate sections, they bend more than one piece by itself, so they make a better shape. So if we kind of just look down the line there, we can see that it's kind of forming a nice even curve now, which is good, all the way up to the bow. One thing that I found quite difficult was getting the height here on this, and taking the height forward at the same level as the shape of the sides. So you can kind of see a little bit here at the back. The gunwales start to come up a little bit higher above the edge of the boat there. I mean, this could be planed down, and as we go forward, by the time we get to the nesting bulkheads here, it's flush again. And then as we go forward again, it now starts to come down. So I don't know why that is. And then, of course, we've come back up to the bow and they've come back up again. So these are difficult to bend sort of in that direction. They bend quite well in that direction because they're 1 1/4 inch. They don't bend much up and down. So I don't know why the shape of this piece, I would have expected the shape of this side panel to be exactly the shape that this would come into, but it isn't for some reason, and I'm a bit confused by that. So it's been quite difficult to get this onto the bow knee, but I've managed to put 2 screws in on this side and 2 screws on this side, so that's all now held together with screws. And this was a bit tricky to get right as well, because it's not only angled in that direction, because it's coming up, it's now angled in that direction as well. So trying to get those to mate in any kind of neat way was very difficult. So I've put the strings back on with a little screw just by the forward bulkhead here, and put a piece of string onto that, and then done the same, and that string goes to the stern on either side. So, and if you look at the strings, they actually touch right in the middle. So what that's telling us is that the height from here to that aft end and from here to that aft end is pretty consistent. It's the same, so there isn't any twist in the boat at all. So that's quite nice to see. They just touch. Maybe if I put this one on top, it'd. But that looks, they look quite good. That looks quite good. Quite happy with that. So so that's it for now. I've cut this notch in the forward bulkhead, ready for the mast collar. So the next step is actually to glue these gunwales on. So that is going to be a hell of a job. But I think the plan is, lay them out somewhere on some plastic and paint them on every side apart from the outside side. And I'll need to paint this as well, the side, and then put a screw through and screw in the bow with one of the screws, and then bend it until I can get this screw in, and then just clamp it all on. God knows what's going to happen when I actually take one of these off with the other one on, so we'll have to see how that goes. I'm not sure what I'm going to do with that. Yeah, we'll see. Anyway, on we go. Okay, so it's after 7 o'clock on Saturday, and I spent 8 hours pretty much since I got here about 11. 8 hours. Well, with an hour I had to go out and get some. I tried to get some more clamps, but I went to home base. They didn't have any. But what the guys had suggested possibly using was a piece of like 2.5, 3 inch pipe, whatever you can get hold of really, and you just cut it into bits, into pieces, like 2 or 3 inches long, and cut down the side, so you end up with a C shape, and when you open it up, it tries to come back into its original shape, so it acts like a spring. So as you can see, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 12 little springs, because you really do need a lot of clamps. You really do. So I've got 14, 15, got 16 clamps, 12. So that's what, 16 and 12, 28. So there's actually 28 clamping devices actually currently on the boat at the moment, holding these gunwales on. And it feels like it's probably, you know, just enough. Probably could have done with some more. Anyway, so that's where we are. It was a very sticky job, very sticky, very sticky indeed. You know, these, so 3 pieces of timber, 3 pieces on either side. So, and on this side, so how many times I needed to glue that? So what, 3 pieces? You glue both sides where they touch. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, so 6 times, and that's 10 meters. So I effectively brushed on 60 meters worth of glue for each side. So 120 meters of glue I had to paint. So that was about 300 mils of mixed epoxy. So I mixed 150 first, thickened it up slightly, and then mixed the second batch with the other side. So I did one side and then the other. I almost didn't do the second side tonight. I almost stopped at 6, but I thought, you know, I'll crack on and see how long it takes. And it's 7 o'clock now. It's taken me an extra hour. So it took an hour to do that one side. So it probably took slightly longer to do the other side because I made a couple of minor mistakes, like putting the screw in through the rear, just not actually screwing it in, but just pushing it through the wood to help hold it in position. And of course, then the front one wouldn't go in because I drilled the holes with the wood bent, and when it was straight, the holes at the front were slightly out of alignment. So I had to take the screw out again, put the one in the front first, screw it on, then go back and put the one in the back. So, lesson learned. Anyway, this is looking okay now. So the clamps are all holding. So everything's gluing up, and let's see how that looks tomorrow.